Welcome inside the RX Muscle Studios here in New York for another episode of Ask Dave, better known as hashtag Ask Dave. Brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com and check out our YouTube page. We uploaded a video last week, Dave outlining the anatomy of a protein supplement, a very informative look into what goes into formulating Isolyze and what makes Isolyze different than other whey protein isolates. Again, on speciesnutrition.com and on our YouTube channel. As we bring in Dave Palumbo, we remind you 5 p.m., I was saying about 40 minutes, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Iron Rage, Dave Palumbo and John Romano. This week, they're going to be talking about the slap heard around the world, Rich Piana and Jason Genova. Dave, 5 p.m. to get your thoughts on that incident.
Yeah, I have trouble qualifying like incidents like this because I don't think they're even relevant in the scope of the bodybuilding and fitness world. That's why I created Iron Rage, so we could talk about stuff that's not that important, but that's kind of humorous and funny, and that's kind of the raging topic of the day, no pun intended. So, yeah, John and I have been talking a little bit on the phone about this, and we have a little surprise. We got a little bit more. I'm not going to say anything. Watch the show. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. You'll get a good laugh.
Reminder, if you want to chime in and ask a question, this is a 30-minute, for those watching us for the first time, this is a 30-minute question and answer show with Dave Palumbo. All your questions on diet, training, supplementation, questions about IFBB pros, competitions. We are, of course, in the thick of the competition schedule. Pittsburgh Pro around the corner, the New York Pro around the corner, as Johnny Styles wants to nudge me, the Puerto Rico Pro around at the corner. So any of your questions about the contest season, you can ask that and more right here. You can join us on the Muscle Central Forum on rxmuscle.com. If you're not a member, it is free to register. If you're watching us live on YouTube, you can ask your questions on the right-hand side of the video player. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, or tweet your questions using hashtag AskDave. Let's go to Micah BB. What's up, guys? And he spelled it with W-A-Z-U-P. Respect. Dave, what do you think about changing the training style to perfect form, but with less weight in the 6 to 12 rep range? But I did that for the last 6 months and lost a lot of strength and size. My weight was the same, but I got much more fatty and a bloated look. Before, when I did not used to train with 100% perfect form and slow reps, I was much harder and stayed lean. Much easier, I trained with explosive movements.
You know, it's hard to make a comment on this because I don't know what you were eating, what your diet was like. It seems suspicious. You know, a lot of times guys come off a show, and when you come off a show, you can't get fat right away. You look good, you blow up. You think what am I doing then? What am I doing then? Because that's when I look the best. You know, as time goes on and you accumulate a little water, you accumulate a little body fat, and then you think you look worse. And you do, in a sense, you gain more body fat and fluid, so it doesn't look as good. So it's hard for me to make an assumption of what you're doing. To me, I always believe in good form, okay? When you start cheating, you get hurt. You don't get full development. I like full range repetitions, and I like to use lower reps so that I can use heavier weight because, let's face it, heavy weight recruits more muscle fibers. More muscle fiber recruitment means bigger muscle and bigger gains down the road. So, you know, I think you got to give it a shot, give it some time, maybe lower your reps a little bit, up your weight.
Let's go to Big Al Williams. Hi, Dave. I see that intermittent fasting is really starting to take off in the fitness industry. I hear a lot of people fasting as much as 16 hours and claim that you can lose a lot of body fat while at the same time gain plenty of muscle. Can this apply to bodybuilders who want to gain mass and stay lean? Would you suggest at least drinking 0-calorie BCAAs for these extensive periods of fasting to prevent muscle loss? This is all new to me, and I would like to get your input on this.
Intermittent fasting implies you're not eating anything. So drinking 0-calorie BCAAs or Crystal Light or even Bolero, for that matter, is not fasting. It means water only, okay? So you can't drink BCAAs. intermittent fasting, okay, is done really for detoxification purposes, not weight loss purposes. If I was in the process of bodybuilding to compete still, I would never intermittent fast. As a matter of fact, I would eat around the clock. I would get up in the middle of the night and eat, okay, so that I would keep my body in a positive protein balance and force my body to continue building muscle. If you're trying to build muscle and get big, intermittent fasting is not the thing for you. Okay, intermittent fasting is to detox the body. The idea behind it being after 8 hours after your last meal is when your body starts to release toxins, because now your internal organs of digestion, the liver, the kidneys, the intestinal tract, have a rest. They're not being worked now because the food is through your body already. So now they can start releasing toxins. That's what it was designed for. Okay, and I kind of intermittent fast every day. I kind of try to eat 12 hours out of the day. 12 hours I don't eat, and I do that for health purposes and just detoxification purposes. But if I was trying to maximize muscle gains or even fat loss for that matter, I would be eating small meals throughout the day constantly to keep my metabolism revving.
We're right now on the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. If you're not already a member on our website, that is where we have all of our news, our banter, our analysis, and of course, if you want access to the photo galleries, which is so important right now in the contest season, you need to have membership on the RX Muscle website. It is free to register, and that is where we give priority to this show and others where we take questions. Let's go to RX Relaxer. Dave, I hate your show as much as Chris Aceto's wife hates Sunday afternoons because that's when you record Heavy Muscle Radio. This guy's looking for a controversy. Who do you think is a better nutritionist, Hani or Chris, and why? And please get Hani as a guru on Iron Debate.
I would love to have Hani on. As a matter of fact, Sid and I were just discussing that the other day to get Hani on either a live with or an Iron Debate. Probably would be a good live with, because a lot of people don't know who he is or where he's from. It's hard to compare who's a better guru, because everyone's a better guru for someone. So in other words, I might be the perfect guru for one particular type of person who likes to diet a certain way and likes my delivery. Another guy might need, more attention and might like the Chris Aceto route, and another guy might like the Hani Rambod approach. So, you got to find who you're comfortable with. I have a lot of people that I work with who are all comfortable, like my style. They like my honesty. They like the fact that I explain why I tell them to do things. And they also know that I'm not going to spend hours and hours and hours with them on the phone, but I'm always available to answer questions. Other people like to, they'll pay more money to have Chris Aceto in the hotel room with them at the show, or to text with him every single day. And that's why Chris takes a limited amount of people, because he doesn't have enough time to do that. And Hani has his own style. So you really can't say who's better or who's not. And you can't start saying, well, he has more this and that and more champion. Everyone's got their own style. You got to investigate what you want. Plus, price comes into point. I purposely don't charge a lot of money because I'm not going to be the guy who's going to only have 20 clients and who's going to spend 6 hours a day on them. However, I'm going to give you your money's worth, and I'm going to always answer your questions and be available. I'm just not going to babysit you. And a lot of people that I work with, they don't need the babysitting. And the people who do, and they need to call me at night and have me counsel them, I'm available, but not every single day. So once again, you really can't compare who's better. I will say one thing. Chris Aceto has, I think, some of the premier athletes right now out there in the bodybuilding world. And, he might have a future Mr. Olympia in the way of Big Ramy. So we'll find out at the end of the year who wins Guru of the Year.
We should have that as an award show, Guru of the Year. How has that not been thought of this point? Let's go to PTB. Dave, I cannot lie. I really do enjoy the show. Interesting question here. For posing music, do bodybuilders need to pay royalties to the owners? If so, how much could it cost, and can it change depending on the venue? For example, would royalties be higher at the Olympia than at a local NPC show, since the Olympia would have many more viewers? I've seen artists go after people on YouTube for using their music in their posted videos, even if it's at a club or a party.
No, you don't have to pay royalties to use music for competitions. Now, if the competition is streamed on YouTube, we've streamed some guest posing routines on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't allow us to monetize those. In other words, charge for advertising, because we don't own the rights to the music. However, if we don't want to monetize it, we can put it up on YouTube and use other people's music. That's pretty much how it works. They don't want you making money from someone's music that you don't own. So if we're going to put up a video, I will have Johnny use original music if I want to monetize the video. which is always the goal on YouTube, obviously, to make a few extra bucks. Let them put their commercials on it and stuff like that. So no, I used to use 10 different songs within one song. And but I think if Johnny once told me that there's a rule: if you're using less than a certain amount of seconds of the song, that you can get away with that also. So what is it? Less than 8 seconds or something like that, Johnny? 10, 15 seconds you can use.
Let's go to Frank Semino 76. I hate this show more than Dave hates hearing about George Farrow getting people shredded. Hashtag carbs build muscle too. Dave, what are the repercussions to doing a keto diet, specifically in regard to your pancreas and its use of insulin when a large amount of carbohydrates are taken in? Example, someone goes on a keto diet for a few months and they come off post-contest. Are there issues with that person being able to use carbs the same way they did before? Could this contribute to a thickening of the waist?
Well, let's examine what happens when you don't take in carbohydrates. Okay, you don't take in carbohydrates, okay, your insulin output is very low. When insulin output is very low, the cells, all the muscle cells that have insulin receptors on them, okay, that are not getting stimulated because your body's not releasing a lot of insulin, okay, what's going to happen? Well, the cells are going to think that there's not enough insulin receptors around. It's not going to know that you're eating low carbs, the cells are not going to know that there's not enough insulin, that there's not a lot of insulin around. It's just going to think there's not enough insulin receptors. So actually, a low-carb diet makes you more insulin sensitive. In other words, it creates more insulin receptors on the outside of cells, so that when you do start eating carbohydrates, you'll be very insulin sensitive. Okay, meaning that a little bit of insulin will go a long way, which is the way we always want it to be. People who are very insulin sensitive, like myself, okay, I don't produce a lot of insulin. I don't need to because I have a lot of insulin receptors, which means that I can absorb food more efficiently with less insulin, which means there's a less likely chance that I'm going to get fat. However, the problem is that after a show, most people gorge on carbs, okay, and they get huge amounts of blood sugar spikes. They get huge amounts of insulin, and that can make them fat and bloated, all right? But doing a low carb or even a ketogenic diet, which is kind of a no carbish diet, okay, will not make you more likely to get fat. If anything, it's going to make you less likely, and it will make your body more sensitive to insulin. Now, if you put tons and tons of growth hormone on top of that, that's a different story, because growth hormone can make you insulin resistant, because the insulin can't get to its receptor because there's too much GH around. And that's why certain bodybuilders, when they do high growth hormone amounts, do need to take in some supplemental insulin to override that insulin resistance.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Reminder that in about a half hour, we're going to have our third episode of Iron Rage. Dave Palumbo and John Romano talking about the slap heard across the world, the incident between Rich Piana and Jason Genova, I believe, at the Europa show this past weekend. And, of course, it's gained all sorts of international conversation in and out of the bodybuilding world. Let's go to Mirko. We're now going to go to our YouTube questions and go to Mirko88 Fodor. Hey Dave, when is the best time to eat oats? I've read that they affect insulin spiking. Your thoughts with hate from Croatia.
Everyone is so obsessed with insulin spiking lately. Oatmeal is actually a lower glycemic carb because it's got fiber in it, meaning that it doesn't cause as much insulin release immediately because it takes longer to digest. Anything with fiber in it will take longer to digest, whereas like a cream of rice, which is just basically white rice, will produce more insulin. It will be higher glycemic index. So lower glycemic carbs cause less insulin release immediately, more insulin output over a longer period of time. So it takes longer to absorb the food. You have a tendency to be less likely to get fat from that. So you could eat oatmeal. I know guys that eat oatmeal all day long. I always like it in the morning. I'm a morning, oatmeal eater. It's to me that's breakfast. But when I was dieting, I would eat it before bed too. So it doesn't really matter, when you consume these carbs. Off season, I like to eat lower glycemic carbs like brown rice, stuff that have more fiber and take longer to assimilate so that they last longer in your body. Pre-contest, if I am eating any carbs or when I'm dieting, they'll be fast-acting carbs, so they're not in my system a long time. White rice, white potatoes.
Let's go to Ahmet Dean. Hey, Dave, when will Species Nutrition be available in Germany?
It's a good question. I'd love to know the answer to that. Well, we just got into the UK relatively recently with Predator Nutrition, so they probably could distribute to Germany as well. So if you are in Germany and you're looking to get supplements, you don't want to buy directly from the Species site or the Amazon.com website, which I think they deliver to Germany, you can contact Reggie over at Predator, and I'm sure you can purchase it from him.
Let's go to Psycher. Hi, Dave. What are your thoughts on digestive enzymes? Do you use them? Did you use them in the past? Do you believe they would work?
I tried digestive enzymes for a while because I was having some stomach bloating problems before I realized that I had to use a fiber supplement. This was right to me. And I was using the digestive enzymes, and all I did was get indigestion from them, and they didn't really do anything, I felt. I think that they're overrated. I think that if you're, some older people might have some digestive issues. People have had stomach stapling. Maybe some people who have some cancer or diseases that affect the organs of digestion, that they may need additional digestive enzymes. But in my experience, most people don't. We do fortify Isolyze with some protein digestive enzymes just to make it more assimilatable. But to me, in a healthy, normal person, you really don't need any.
Let's go to Palenk. Hey, Dave, a lot of people say that you can't run Tren and Deca at the same time because of the prolactin issues. Your thoughts?
Look, some people get from the Trenbolone, the 19-nor testosterone-derived steroids like Trenbolone and Deca. A lot of people have issues with losing sex drive or inability to have an erection because they do tend to raise prolactin levels, or they can raise prolactin levels. Not in everyone. I used to use Deca and Trenbolone, and I had no problem. I loved it. I loved using them together. No issues whatsoever. So it's a person-specific thing. You know who you are because it affects you pretty quickly. So most people know that I can't take Deca. It kills my sex drive. And then the people who don't have a problem with it. It's unfortunate because Trenbolone happens to be a great pre-contest drug. Now I know a lot of people will try to deal with the prolactin issues, and they'll take Dostinex, which is cabergolamine, and they'll try to neutralize the prolactin issue. The truth is, a lot of guys think they have high prolactin, and they really don't. I would go for blood work and check it out, because if you start to experience symptoms of that, go get a blood test, have them check your prolactin levels. If they're not high, then that's not the issue. Then it could just be psychological. I know a lot of guys, they take one shot of Deca, they think they can't get an erection. It doesn't even affect you for 2-3 weeks. So don't get carried away with what people tell you. Try it out for yourself, and if it bothers you, don't use it. That's all.
Let's go to Daniel Valuzzi. I know he's watching, so I'm going to put you on the spot. LOL. Do you think we will see Paulo Almeida, a.k.a. The Freak, on the Olympia stage? If yes, how do you think he could potentially do?
I think if he hits the right shows, he could qualify. I don't know if he's going to win a show, but he could definitely get a bunch of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place votes and go on points. He might get lucky, show up at the right show, and win. I haven't seen him this year. I know he's made a lot of improvements from last year. He's got a ton of muscle on his body. He's got good symmetry for a big guy. If he dials in the conditioning 100%, I think he could do some damage. How would he do it on an Olympia stage? He probably wouldn't make the top 10 right now, but that's not to say that he can't in the future. He does have age against him. I believe he's 40 now, but I think that he's a guy who started late. He'll probably come into his prime around 45. So I say never.
Let's go to Keto Fitness. I hate this show so much that I'd rather hire Rich Piana to prep me while slapping the heck out of me day in and day out. Okay, so then he goes into the question, why, since I started eating high-protein diet, I guess his question is, since he started his high-protein diet, why does he tend to get constipated and bloated?
Well, eating a lot of protein without enough fiber will definitely make you have a problem going to the bathroom. We all know that for a fact. Most bodybuilders concentrate on carbs, starchy carbs, and protein. Even if you have a little fat in there, that's not conducive to moving waste through your body efficiently. That's why I recommend that every single person who's watching this show and everyone out there in the world take a fiber supplement twice a day. Now, I know everyone's going to say, well, Dave's just pushing his Fiberlyze product. No, I created Fiberlyze because everyone needs fiber. I didn't create Fiberlyze and then say, hey, let me see how I can convince people to take this product and buy it. It's the reverse. So try a fiber supplement that's psyllium based. Okay, that's for your insoluble fiber. For your soluble fiber, excuse me. And then you're going to need an insoluble source too. Fiberlyze has both in there already. Trust me. Try it. Everyone out there, you could be the biggest skeptic in the world. Try one container of it. And I promise you will continue to use it. We all need fiber. There's so many people that are constipated, more women than men. And I can't tell you how many people out there get hemorrhoids because of the fact that they have to strain to move the waste out of their body. That's not natural. If you take a good quality fiber supplement, the stuff just comes out of your body effortlessly. You won't have any tearing down there. You won't have any hemorrhoids. You won't have constipation. And constipation is really, the act of not being able to go to the bathroom is uncomfortable, but the worst part is that you're reabsorbing all the toxins that your body's trying to get rid of. You want that stuff out of your body as quickly as possible. And that's what a fiber supplement does.
Take one more from our YouTube channel and go to our Instagram questions. This one from Cards2. Hey, Dave, do you think Justin Compton will ever control his gut issue?
Well, the truth is I don't think he has that big of a gut issue because he's got a really small waist. I think he's, number one, probably doesn't practice controlling enough. I did a video on abdominal breathing exercises, and it's on our YouTube channel. You can probably search it. It's also on the RX Muscle website. And there are certain exercises you can do that will enable you to give you better control of the midsection. And I think a lot of guys don't do that. Also, not to go back to fiber again, but a lot of guys don't use a fiber supplement, and they have too much food and waste in their colon, and they have trouble because of that as well. So I think these are just minor fixes that Justin has. He's got the genetics of a small waist, so with him, it's just tweaking those two little variables, and I think he'll be fine.
Reminder that in about 20 minutes or so, the third episode of Iron Rage, Dave Palumbo and John Romano talking about the incident between Rich Piana and Jason Genova. Let's go to our Instagram questions now. Again, our handle is @official_RX Muscle. Let's go to ewing_21. Hey, Dave, what do you recommend to eat on the day of/morning of a bodybuilding competition, and in parentheses, before prejudging?
Everyone knows I love whole eggs and usually pancakes for people who are in shape. For people who are just barely in shape, usually just whole eggs and some rice. But if you did your homework and you're ready to go, there's nothing better than 3 whole eggs and some pancakes in the morning with some butter and syrup on it as your first meal. Just load that glycogen into the muscle. Really, get a little sugar and a little, salt into the muscles so that they're nice and full. Remember, if you're not drinking, which you're not in the morning, and you're already dry, you can't bloat. And that's just a great meal, I think. And then after the prejudging, I love to do my burger and fries meal. And I think that's a terrific post prejudging meal as well, which will fill you out for the night.
Let's see. Question about the Olympia. I'm Mike Mercado. Dave, hate the show. Can you tell us 3 years where you thought the runner-up arguably could have won the Olympia instead of placing second?
Victor Martinez. Jay Cutler, I forget what year, was that 07? Might have been 07. I thought Victor should have won. I thought that Nasser should have beat Dorian in 97. I wasn't from the era when Arnold was around. I know in 1980 Arnold probably shouldn't have won the Olympia. I don't know who could have won it that year. There was a couple guys. I think that, what year was that? Jay should have beat Ronnie in 01. Definitely. Even though Ronnie was really good, Jay was amazing. Probably last year Phil Heath should have lost to Sean Roden, even though Roden didn't come in second. But I thought that Roden had the Olympia last year. And what else? Let me think. Other years. Ronnie beat Jay one year that he shouldn't have beat him right at the end when he was having problems with his lat. That was a year. But there weren't too many glaring, bad calls. But there was a few of them along the way. A lot of people thought Labrada should have beat Lee Haney, 1990, I believe it was. Haney was a little off. So, but there wasn't too many terrible, calls like that.
Let's go to Joe Johnson. Hey, Dave, I see bodybuilders all the time talking about waking up in the middle of the night to drink a shake. As an ectomorph, should I be waking up in the middle of the night and be drinking a shake, or is getting the 8 hours of sleep more beneficial? And does this scenario play differently from athletes who take gear and natural athletes? By the way, hate this show so much. It bothers me more than it bothers. Okay, now he's talking about Jay Cutler and Chris Aceto. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I like to wake up in the middle of the night and have a shake. I used to wake up in the middle of the night twice and drink 2 shakes. One, and then I would, because I used to get up to go to the bathroom every 2 hours. I still get up to go to the bathroom every 2 to 3 hours. I don't know why. My body detoxifies itself at night, and that's when I do. So I would get up, I would have a shake ready, I would go right into the refrigerator, gulp it down, because I could literally drink a shake in 3 seconds. I know it sounds like, he said 3 seconds. No, 3 seconds. I can go boop, and it's done, and I would go right back to bed. And so to me, that was great because it was a way to force calories in that I normally wouldn't get while I was asleep.
Let's go to muscle_machine. I hate this show more than Rich Piana hates Jason Genova. My question, when you drink Isolyze and Carbolyze after your workout, how long is it recommended to wait till you eat after that?
I usually would wait an hour to anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. I think that's fine. Some guys assimilate the shake faster than others. Back in the day, I used to do probably about an hour to an hour and a half. I would have a meal after that.
Take a couple of more. This one from Muhammad Zaid Aniz. Hey, Dave, I strained my trap from behind the neck military press, which happened from 5 weeks ago. The first week I went to a chiropractor. He told me to strain. It will be gone in 10 to 14 days. It's still there and causing front delt pain, trap, and neck stiffness. One of the orthopedic doctor. A week later, he told me to take anti-inflammatory pills for 2 weeks. If it didn't heal, he wants to do an MRI scan. Do you have any tips on how to heal a trap strain fast?
Like anything with the neck, I mean, any of you have gotten whiplash from a car accident? No, it's a real pain in the neck, no pun intended, because it just doesn't go away. It's an annoying, nagging pain. It's not debilitating. You can train through it, but it's just freaking annoying as hell. And, it's like getting a stiff neck. Every once in a while you get a stiff neck. We go on a long plane ride and I'm like, oh, my neck. And you can get adjusted. You can get massaged. It just doesn't go away. Time will heal it. Time will heal it. I wouldn't get carried away and start going for 5 million tests unless it's so debilitating that you can't take the pain, which it probably isn't. It's probably just more annoying.
I'll sneak this one in as well. It's from Ryan Bowie. Dave, do you think social media has benefited or hurt the sport of bodybuilding overall?
I think anything that exposes the sport more can only benefit it. Obviously, because more people are exposed to it, more people get to see what they don't see at shows. Because before, think about it, if you didn't go to a show live, the only way you can see what was going on in the bodybuilding industry would be to look at a magazine. And a magazine gives you a very limited scope view of the person who's who's writing the article there. So to me, you're kind of at the mercy of the writer. Now everyone can just go online. They can watch the shows streamed live, or they can see pictures, and they can make their own assumptions. They can make their own analysis, and they can argue with each other online. And I love that. I love the fact that everyone has access.
Last question, and we'll tie it into an update on some information you have about your upcoming Diet Guru seminar. The first question, rather the question in and of itself, from Joe Gun 93, Dave, when will you be coming back to Australia for another Diet Guru seminar? And then you can give the information about your upcoming seminar.
Yeah. As far as the Diet Guru course on the road, you'll have to talk to my wife about that. I don't think I'm going to be. I'm grounded right now. I'm not going anywhere right now. But I will be holding another Secrets to Becoming a Diet Guru course in New York. It was originally going to be June 11th. I moved it to June 18th because I wanted to accommodate a couple people that had asked me if I could move it up a week. So, guys, it's June 18th. You go to davepalumbo.com. You sign up. There's limited seating, so it's filling up fast. All of a sudden, the last day, I got like 5 or 6 signups. So, guys, sign up now because if it runs out of space, I'm just going to have to turn you away till the next course, and I don't even know when that's going to be. So, the reason I held off this long is my leg is still healing, and I can't stand on my feet, and I love to stand when I teach this course. So, it's 10 hours. You get free lunch at Taco Joe's, free dinner at Sushi Village, all you can eat sushi. You get a huge big gift bag of Species Nutrition products, but more importantly, you go home with a terrific amount of information on diet, supplements, drugs, detoxification, site injection oils, last week contest prep, off-season, pre-contest, men, women. it goes over everything. If you consider yourself a diet coach, or you want to get into that, or you want to be the best there is out there, this course is like going to Harvard University, okay, to become a doctor. All right, you got to learn your trade. You got to learn the science of what's going on if you want to know how to manipulate a person's body and get the results that you want. Learn the right way to do it rather than this online hocus pocus stuff that people just kind of spew out there with no explanations whatsoever. You'll learn the real way to do things. A lot of people have taken the course. I've certified over 100 people now, and people just love this course. It comes with an 85-page manual. It's like my playbook that I've developed over the last 25 years. You sign up at DavePalumbo.com. If 2 people sign up, you get a little discount. I'm telling you, don't wait, because this course is going to fill up fast. The June course is always the most popular, so check it out. Also, I want to mention, if anyone wants my 3-week detoxification and cleansing diet protocol, I give it out for free. You can email me at huge285@AOL.com. I will send you a copy for nothing. I believe that that's something that everyone should have and should have the ability to do. And I like to do it at least once a year. Some people do it twice a year. So check that out as well. And for all of you out there who don't know if your anabolic steroids are real, or Bill Llewellyn developed an amazing product called Roid Test. I am the exclusive distributor here in the United States. If you want to purchase a Roid Test to test your gear to see if it is real, it's an amazing invention. I wish they had it when I was competing. You can go to DavePalumbo.com as well and purchase it there. And I think that's it. Now, coming up in like 10 minutes, John Romano and I will be on Iron Rage, and we will be talking about the slap heard around the world. That's right. That's rich pianist slapping Jason Genova. Was it right? Was it wrong? What do you guys think? I'll tell you what I think, and John Romano will tell you what he thinks. And we have a very special little added attraction. Don't miss it. 10 minutes live here on rxmuscle.com.
So there you have it. That's the end of our show. We'll see you in about 10 minutes for Johnny Styles and Dave Palumbo. I'm Sadiq Faruqi. See you next week.